The reason why the students' bus caught fire in Thailand. In the country of Thailand. It's just that it's very sad the entry of the first day of October went viral because all over the world the news about a bus carrying many young students and teachers was consumed by a blazing fire in the middle of the road. What was the reason that started? And some tagos and new details in this case are just some of the things we will talk about here on the channel that if you have knowledge, you will never be ignored. And the story goes like this. Let's fly to the country where it all happened in Thailand, where based on many study is a country where they lead in having the most recorded road accidents. And believe it or not, even though there are many, almost 2 sinners who died in the accident, we're going to talk about this is not yet the worst accident in their country. It is only second. This is the first time we talked about the bus in just a decade. The bus contained more or less 45 passengers, mostly students, but the bus was full of people who would be happy, especially the children. And teachers, because they will have a field trip to a science museum in Thailand. It was organized by the school, where the students study the field trip. Body from the start is doing well, nothing is out of the ordinary, the sky is clear, the flow is good of traffic, complete with students and teachers tasked with threatening the students on their future field trip. But we know that all the good things I mentioned will be replaced by the shocking and bitter fate of the people carrying this bus. Because while on the way to the Science Museum Children's Day, even though the students had nothing, based on the first report, it was said that the front right side tire of the bus exploded, which in turn caused it to collide with the car in front of it, and after the barrier that we can see in the middle of the road. When the bus hit, it had sparks that caused it to catch fire. Bad bud, there is more to that story that I will share later. Here in our story for now, I will watch here are some videos and pictures of the incident, and I want you to pay attention to the tub and the bus itself and think about what you notice, because there is something strange about it that I will say later. When the fire broke out, it was one of the first cargo of the bus was the mischievous bus driver himself. He didn't think twice about saving himself, although at first he managed to get a fire extinguisher from the passerby, but he couldn't put out the fire, so he just ran away. Yesterday's report that he fled after the incident, but that night when he heard on TV the horrible thing that happened to the passengers of the bus he was driving, his conscience troubled him, and he eventually surrendered to the authorities. The name of the driver is Saman Chan Put, who is facing now in the case of reckless driving causing deaths and injuries. And yes, buddy, the one I mentioned earlier about the bus. And if you pay close attention to the bus, you can say that it did not really suffer serious physical damage, which is called the type that overturned or sustained excessive damage due to the strong collision or anything else. We can't even see that its pillars are bent. At least based on the released report, the bus is not over speeding, and the bus driver is not a sweet potato on the road, and it is intentional. Straight been their highway is just fine. It is also operating at the correct speed. The question now is, why did the fire break out so big and quickly that it consumed the inside of the bus when the damage was minor? You see, the bus was being operated what is called CNG, or compressed natural gas, is like the LPG bodies that these buses use for transportation. This is normal in Thailand, and they often carry extra CNG for their long-distance trips. But based on the news that just came in, the police found out that the bus was surrounded by not 1, 2, or 3 extra gas canisters, but 10 compressed gas canisters on the lower deck of the bus, instead of only 3 that should have been placed in the back. And I quote Thai Police 46, it says the bus, which ignited yesterday, had 10 gas canisters distributed all around the lower deck, instead of 3 at the rear, as per regulations. That explains the rapid, intense fire. How did this bus pass inspection? Later gave the statement of the bus company and said that they conduct an inspection twice a year on their respective buses. That's why many people are still wondering until now how this bus is carrying 10 canisters of gas instead of only 3 in the back, which is according to the policy of the country of Thailand. So after all it was said and done, when the responding authorities were tied up, the number of people who knew, most of them were children, 20 kids to be exact, and 3 teachers knew about this accident. So, out of more or less than 45 people on the bus, half of them were found out and the other half survived, but some of the survivors had severe facial injuries, some were blinded, there were first, second, or third degree burns, but the case is still alive, is still developing as a T. Moments, so other details may change, but this is the latest, and I can't imagine the sadness that the parents or relatives of the children and teachers who died in the accident are feeling right now. It can really be said that we can't know the future, because think of the parents who used to have big dreams for their children, but in an instant they disappeared like a bubble. So what I can advise parents who have small children, let's put aside our cell phones for a while and stay away from social media, and spend time with your loved one fans, because we don't know how long our loved ones will last in this world. So let's say cherish every moment we are with them rather than soaking in social media, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.